Maverick is the poster child for kids who don't mind getting their hands dirty.
Before I was in 4-H, I started welding. It started with working on trucks, and then once I got into 4-H, I started welding, and that's been my gig.
You start running beads, and then they start looking better, and then you get encouraged by that. Darla talked about your confidence. Carries over to other aspects of your life.
We dealt with broken gates on the farm, and I got Maverick taught how to build a gate now. Hey, if somebody had done this for me when I was that age, where would I be at?
Welcome to the Still Building America podcast with your co-host Josh Welton
and Darla Welton. Americans haven't forgotten how to work with our hands. There's a dynamic generation of young fabricators, blacksmiths, machinists, welders, hot rod builders, metal workers, manufacturing entrepreneurs, and artists who are still building America.
Manufacturing Day is your chance to see what modern manufacturing is all about. On the first Friday in October, companies across the country open their doors, on-site and online, to inspire the next generation of makers. From high-tech equipment demos to hands-on activities, it's a behind-the-scenes look at the careers shaping our future. Find an event near you or host your own at mfgday.com and be a part of something big. And now, back to the episode.
Welcome, everyone, to the Still Building America podcast. On this episode, we welcome dynamic father-son duo Matt and Maverick Graham. I recently came across their family Instagram account, which is Graham_Industries, and I was blown away. This young boy was welding like a pro. I mean, like 9-10 years old, welding like a pro. And I started scrolling through the account and was amazed not only by what you were doing, Maverick, but you too, Matt. So you all work the farm, but then you also have a truck repair business, correct?
Yeah, we work on all kinds of stuff.
Very cool. So let's go a little more into your background on, I'd love to hear from you, Matt, on where this all started. I know that you all have the family farm. How many generations of your family have been in farming?
I am the first generation to not get to do a full-time job farming.
Okay.
So we still farm. We're as soon as we get done with this, we're gonna head to the farm and check livestock. But yeah, had to go get a big boy job. But backing up from there, probably about Maverick's age on the farm, watching my dad attempt to weld and fix things, I kind of developed a passion for it. I can remember being probably about his age, and we'd gotten a new truck. My grandpa got a new truck. It was a 96 Ford Power Stroke. Pulled it in the shop, and my uncle could weld a little bit. He built a headache rack for it, 3-inch angle iron to box in the bed rails, and then stabs that came up well above the cab to haul pipe and stuff like that. And I can remember somebody swinging by, and they're like, looked at me, and they're like, "Are you gonna be able to weld like that someday?" And I looked at him, I'm like, I'll probably try to weld better than that, because that doesn't look that great to me. So that's kind of where it started. Like I said, probably younger than Maverick, probably 8 or 9 years old. I can remember as probably a first core memory. But my mom and dad were really big into 4-H. They were 4-H advisors. They started a small 4-H club, and I took a welding project. At the time, I think the first welder Dad put in my hands was a small little like Sears and Roebuck like stick welder that had like extension cord leads on it. Absolute piece of garbage. Probably couldn't push more than a 16th rod with it. I probably burned 10 or 15 pounds of rod that summer just messing around in the shop, and then eventually got handed the keys to the old Tombstone that was parked alongside the shop, and that's kind of all history from there. I participated in the 4-H welding program. From age 10 to 18, actually ended up getting to go to nationals, I think my senior year. Got to travel the country for that, and got to go to a national welding contest at Purdue University. Pretty cool
Very
opportunity.
cool.
So obviously when Mr. Maverick became of age to start welding, we got him involved pretty early, and I know a little bit more of the algorithm than what my parents did, so he got a little bit of an early start on it.
Right on.
Yeah.
I love how there's inspiration, and it's either like you see this amazing thing and it's like, wow, I want to aspire to that, or you see something and you're like, that's terrible. I can do way better than that. Like inspiration.
Yeah, mine was definitely the latter. Yeah,
Yes.
If you've ever been around farm repairs, it's a lot of it happens out of desperation.
100%. I've done some of those repairs.
Yeah, it's not even like a gorilla weld. It's not even like strong but ugly. It's like it's ugly and weak a lot of times and gets redone multiple times and never really done correctly.
Right.
I witnessed that a lot with different types of repairs. So over the years, I've had a lot of experience fixing a lot of very strange things and trying to do it with not a lot, I guess.
Yeah.
Not a lot of money, not a lot of resources. We use a lot of oil well pipe around here. So we've used tens of thousands of feet of oil well pipe, building fence, building gates, all that kind of stuff.
I was wondering about that because I saw you guys working on a lot of pipe out in the field for fencing and things like that. And I figured it was something along those lines.
Yeah, we produce some wells here too. So there's always a well getting plugged and always got pipe moving from here to there. And we actually live near, there used to be an oil gathering station here in the valley that we live in. So you can dig a ditch 100 feet across the pipes and hit 10 or 15 of them. It's kind of like a natural resource that grows out of the ground. So
Right.
That's amazing. So, Maverick, did you have an interest in welding or working on some of the trucks and engines and everything? What came first for you?
It started with working on trucks and stuff like that. And then once I got into 4-H, once I was old enough for that, I started welding, and that's been my gig.
Right.
You love it, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
There's this photo of you on your Instagram from this year at the Ohio State Fair. You are sitting across from the judges. You're sitting at a table across from the judges, and you just looked so poised and confident and not like a shy little kid who wasn't sure or was nervous about answering. Just in that photo alone, I could sense that level of confidence that you have. Josh and I judge welding sculpture for Skills USA, which is a skilled trades based program throughout the country. And I swear you had as much confidence as a lot of these like high school, almost college age kids. I just could see that in how you were sitting there and presenting yourself. So that was really cool. Can you remember, were you last year when you went into the competition for the first time, were you nervous?
Yeah. I didn't know what I was going to be doing. This year when I went, there was a different rod, and I'd been practicing one rod from last year. That got me mad.
What were the different rods?
there you go.
Last year, I was using 6011,
Ah,
and then
yeah.
I had to use 6013 this year.
Ooh, gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, we're not big 6013 fans. Not big
No.
6013.
I don't
fans.
think anybody is.
6011's not that good either, but they
It's better.
the professor that ran the welding school at Ohio State for years, he was really big on 6011 because a lot of people don't have an AC/DC welder. So he wanted them to be able to push a 6011 rod before he cut them loose on really anything else. And 6010 wasn't an option for practice because a lot of the schools just had just a standard AC buzz box.
Gotcha.
So he was really big on that. You know, not many people are a big fan of 6011 either, but that's what they've used for.
That makes sense. That makes sense then.
They probably used that rod for 25 years or so in the contest. So
And then they just changed it?
yeah, they just changed it out of whim, but everybody had to weld with it, right?
Yeah.
Everybody got the same deal, so it was fair, but that was a little bit of a curveball you definitely weren't expecting.
So,
Adapt and overcome.
yeah, but
In a nutshell.
it seems that you were successful.
Yeah.
What exactly are you being judged on? What do you have to do?
It's mostly about your project, but it's also about your interview and your book.
And what was your project?
You mean like what did I weld together?
Yes.
What'd you take to the fair?
Yeah.
It was like a pipe gate. It was 12 foot, and then there's gate jacks. It was like a jack that would go on a trailer, and there was a base on it, so when you crank it, it would lift up the gate.
Right on.
And then I made a boot scraper.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, there's a project. There's some simple projects that are in the book. You have to bring at least one project out of the book. So out of the book, he made the boot scraper, and the project out of the book, you're required to demonstrate your ability to read prints, be able to produce, and from an engineer drawing, put the
Right.
correct size weld in the correct place, and everything be schematically correct. dimensionally correct, no distortion or warping or any of that stuff. So one project has to be that, and for that you made the boot scraper, and then the other part was the gate, which obviously the gate a lot more challenging. We've tried to around here. We've dealt with broken gates on the farm all of our lives, so
Yep.
I have a vested interest in having good gates, and I got Maverick taught how to build a gate now. So
Excellent.
we're building them on inch and 7/8 well stem, so they're pretty stout. Build a set of hinges that have grease zerks in them, and then they get welded to a steel post. So as long as a semi or a dozer doesn't run into them, they should be there at least through our lifetime.
Right on.
With a lot better weld.
But there's never a 0% chance of a dozer or a truck running into it. So
that is a distinct possibility. Yes, it does happen. It does happen from time to time. But yeah, it's on him though. I mean, I obviously helped him build the gate. I mean, I helped him do the layout. I helped him draw plans for it. Was there every step of the way, helping him and working on it. But when it comes judging day, he has to show up with his project book. He has to be able to explain exactly how all of it was done.
Yep.
And then he takes a weld test. So they have to take a weld test and demonstrate welding competency. So you can't just show up and have dad have done the project. So
right on.
He has to do the interview, and he has to take the weld test, and has to be able to articulate exactly how the project was fabricated.
Gotcha. Right on.
So you won your age division, and you were awarded a helmet from Miller Welders.
Mm-hmm.
So you're judged in your age division, but then I also saw you won outstanding for the day for the larger weldment. So is that out of a certain age group, or is that like overall?
There's 2 size divisions. It's J1 and J2. What are the dimensions?
You have to be greater than 8 feet long to be in the large weldment, and you won the overall for the larger weldment.
Mm-hmm.
Right on. That's awesome.
That is so cool. And then, so he was the overall winner. And then I saw that you won a clock trophy. And on the Instagram post, it said that your dad won it in 2007.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
He got there a little quicker than I did. It took me a few more tries.
How old were you in 2007 when you got it?
I would have been 18 years old in 2007.
And he's 10 and he did it. That is just so cool.
And he was standing beside 18-year-olds. I mean, when the awards, during the award ceremony, he was standing beside the 18-year-old. He beat the 18-year-old winner of the division.
Very cool.
It's honestly a fairly intense competition. There's 88 counties in Ohio. I think there were over 60 counties represented in the contest.
Wow. That's incredible, Maverick.
So you've done it 2 years now, right?
Yeah.
So what coming out of the first year, what were you like, what did you take out of that? Like, okay, this is what, like when I go into this next year, I'm gonna really tackle this area. Like, was there something after the first year where you're like, that wasn't, I can do this better?
I needed to learn how to read the puddle. I just drug it. I didn't know what I was doing.
Yep.
And this year I figured it out.
I had my journeyman that taught me how to weld back in the day. He always said, "Be the puddle grasshopper," and I couldn't see it at first either. When I didn't start welding till I was 24, but for the first little while, it was almost like you're going on motion, and then all of a sudden something clicks and you can see it. And once you can see it, you can manipulate it. And once you can manipulate it, man, you can do whatever you want with that puddle.
Believe it or not, they don't make welding gear for 9-year-olds, which is how old he was last year.
We do believe it. It's something we've been really harping on. Yes.
Yeah, they don't make welding gear for that. So I struggled. Like we went around a few times last year. I'm like, why can't you see that? Why can't you see that? And I just stopped for a little bit and let him kind of screw around and step back and looked. And I'm like, that helmet fits so horribly that he's like looking out of it like half sideways. So we got the gear fed up a little bit better this year, and I think kind of focused in on that. And he's able to see things a lot better. I didn't realize how little he was able to actually see last year.
That makes a huge difference. I mean, I even from like on the opposite end with some of the older gentlemen I had that come, not even that old, but just people who come in to do the welding workshops, and for the first like hour they're really struggling. And now I ask the question right away, but it took me a few workshops to do it. And I'm like, do you wear like glasses? And they're like, no. I'm like, you wear glasses to read? Well, yeah. Do you have them with you? Because that might help. And then it's just night and day difference. Like you've got to be able to see or it's just not happening.
Yep.
Yeah, that's something I've been growing more and more passionate about, especially as I started talking to so many more women who were struggling to find proper fitting PPE. So it's like, okay, if most of the PPE out there is designed for men, which makes sense because traditionally, these trades careers have been male dominated, but there's so many more women wanting to get involved. So there was a lack of proper fitting PPE, and whether it was gloves, jackets, pants, boots, helmets, the whole thing. And or for fitting more hair under a welding hood or whatever it is. And so then I started asking the question, well, shoot, we hear all of these people talking about we need more kids interested in the trades, but it's not accessible to them because
If you
they
don't
don't
have the
things
PPE,
like,
then you can't
yeah,
do it.
and it's
Yep.
dangerous. So especially if we want to be teaching kids in mass. I mean, you're lucky, Maverick, to have the opportunity that you do, being able to learn from your dad. I mean, really, that's invaluable in this day and age. You're getting an apprenticeship as a kid, which is just the coolest thing ever. I wish a lot more kids could have that opportunity, but I hope that this encourages, parents that are in the trades and have, home equipment, that they can at least introduce their kids to it, give them the chance to be exposed, and, whether it's welding or whatever, give them a chance to try it out, see if they like it. You're not going to like everything, but you might just fall in love with welding like Maverick did.
Yeah, he didn't use anything special for the project. I mean, he welded his project with a Lincoln tombstone. I'm making him use the old school stuff
Go through the
so that he learns
progression.
how to do it the hard way. The hard way. There's not a ton of arc force. It's they're a little sticky getting going, and I want him to know how to do that before we put him on some better equipment.
Everyone's got the old tombstone.
I was just going to ask what machine you use the most.
We do a lot of MIG too. So we have an ESOB. What is it?
Yeah, and you saw Rebel.
Yeah.
Right on.
Use that, and then what kind of portable welder do we have?
Ranger MPX 330.
Nice.
That's on the welding buggy.
That'll do the job.
Yeah.
It's never a bad thing when you have a welding buggy. I had one of those when in 2017 I went to Iraq to weld on battle damaged tanks, and I had a little John Deere Gator with a welder on it with a Bobcat on it, and it's like, man, that'd be sweet to have one of these. I don't need one of these back home, but it'd be really sweet to have one.
Yeah, we've had the welder in the bed of on a flatbed truck some, but we have a 1986 Honda Big Red 3-wheeler, and believe it or not, that is what's hooked to the welding buggy most of the time. Bang out through the pasture field with it to go, fix gates, hang stuff up, work on
Gives
a
you a little
weld.
bit of stability too.
It floats. It doesn't get stuck. I mean, it's too light to get stuck anywhere. So yeah, we keep it light. Sometimes we got to get some weight off of it. We got a set of pipe jacks hanging on it. We got 150 feet of hose. Got a full 330 cubic foot bottle of oxygen on it.
It adds up.
It's loaded down. It's got all the necessities on it, but we make it happen.
That's awesome. So, Maverick, did you first strike an arc with your dad or at the 4-H?
It was before I was in 4-H. I started welding.
What was that first time like? Were you bugging him to do it, or was this like, hey, let's try this out?
Yeah, he was like, let's try and do this, and then you can do it for 4-H. I was having fun, but it did not look very good at all.
Hey, that's how it happens for all of us at the start. The fun though carries you through. Like you start running beads, and then they start looking better, and then you get encouraged by that. And I think that, like Darla talked about, your confidence. Like I never grew up being a super confident person, but when I got into welding, and it was like, man, I'm pretty good at this, and this is something I'm really passionate about, and it carries over to other aspects of your life too. And getting that kind of training at that age where you're competent, I mean, you've got to go and talk about your projects, so you got to know them inside and out. Being able to do that has a lot to do with how you carry, how you carry yourself. Like, if when they come to question you, you've got the answers for it.
This year we really focused on the fabrication side too. What were some of the things you learned with that?
We did a bunch of gates.
Yeah, we built like 6 or so. But what did you learn how to do? What did we start doing with the pipe? Fit up wise.
Yeah, we had a couple different ways of coping to make it fit up better.
Right on.
We had a jig for the drill, and we would line it up, and then there was that, and then we would use a portaband.
Okay.
That worked the jig worked better. I mean, was there any other ways?
Yeah, we do a lot of circle burning. Learned how to use a circle burner this year on a 180-degree torch.
I saw that. I saw a video of that just now. That's pretty slick.
Yeah, he's the hole reamer. Put him on the angle grinder and get to clean all the slag out of everything.
The grinder is like your right hand tool, man, and you could do a lot of cool stuff with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good skill to have.
We have people come into our welding workshops, and some of them just want to grind. They're like, "Oh, I love
Especially
grinding."
when they learn how to do it, because that's one of those things that, like, I always look back, like, I always knew how to do this. It's like, nah, somebody showed you, like, if you do it this way, it's going to kick back on you. You got to hold it like this angle. And it's just interesting when people come in and it's like, oh, yeah, I had to learn this once too. You could do a lot of cool stuff with the grinder.
Maverick, what is the coolest thing that you've fabricated? Was it your gate that you made for the fair, or what would you say it was?
I would say the jacks, because my dad had made other ones, but they didn't work very well. So I did these.
See that? You see that? See how that goes?
What?
Oh, if you come for the king, you best not miss.
Yeah. He won't miss. He won't miss.
What's a project that you really want to do in the future? You have your eyes on something?
He wants to really get into aluminum. I've been talking about
Yeah.
that. He wants to. We do a lot of spool gun work.
Yep.
Got a lot of spool gun repair work that floats its way through, and then a lot of TIG. Tim would pick up the spool gun more for aluminum stuff. It's usually dirty work, but he's really interested in that. Not quite good enough for reading the puddle yet, but we're working on it.
Nice. So have you attempted TIG yet?
Mm-mm.
Ah,
Not yet.
He's the TIG grinder guy.
Yeah.
that's what we love.
Yeah, I love all processes, but TIG was the first thing that it was like, okay, I can do this. And it's so precise and pretty versatile as far as the materials you can do it. The one thing is, man, cleanliness is godliness with that. Like, you can get away with a lot with the 6011, 6010, 6013, and even doing some MIG and whatever, but TIG, man, you want to have that stuff clean. It'll help. And really with any process you do, but like there's a lot of process where you can just, especially doing farm work, you can get away with a lot. But you step up to that TIG machine, man, make sure everything is super clean.
I have a feeling he's going to be a champ at that.
Oh, I don't have any doubt.
He'll have a heck of a head start. I don't think that I didn't even own a TIG welder till I was like 26 or 28. So
yep.
He's going to have a heck of a head start. He's got a pretty good opportunity there for sure.
Right on.
Absolutely. Maverick, in 4-H, have you been with other kids your age who are learning to weld then too?
I have a cousin. Would John be a cousin?
Mm-hmm.
We sold him my welder that I won last year.
Is he going to come over and get some lessons from you, or?
Yeah, probably.
Gotten a couple already.
Right on.
Already. Trying to get confidence up.
Heck yeah.
That's awesome. What advice would you give to other kids who are your age, like 9, 10, 11 years old, who, see welding and maybe it looks a little intimidating? What would you say to them?
If it looks fun to you, just keep practicing. If you're not very good at it, just keep practicing. That's what I had to do.
Right on.
That's great advice. I love that.
Yeah, get that hood time.
Tell them about your brake rotor from this summer.
Oh yeah.
We do a lot of brake jobs on like heavy trucks, like 450, 550 type stuff.
Big brake rotors.
There's a brake rotor off of an F350 that I had done beads all the way around on the top too. We just got rid of it, but
You probably put like 5 pounds of welding rod on that brake rotor.
That's what it takes, man. You develop that muscle memory. What I've taught in the past, like people want to rush past that stage of just laying beads. And man, that is invaluable as you move forward, because you develop that muscle memory. And then when you have to do the difficult things like the overhead and the vertical, like that muscle memory will help you out there. You're not going into it blind. So running beads, man, that's awesome practice. And then it's fun. Like that's how I got into doing like different TIG designs that I, art pieces that I've done in the past, was just from laying beads. And it's like, okay, what else can I do with this? And it just came from running bead after bead after bead after bead, man. Yeah, and whatever you can find with scrap metal, like rotors, like you said, just something that'll take the metal and you're off and running.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I love that you brought up the brake rotor. I was going to ask you, Matt, a little bit more about it is your truck repair business, right?
Yeah, it's a side hustle. It's a side hustle. I still have a day job, but yeah, we build engines. We do, anything and everything on diesel trucks. During the COVID years, during like 20 and 21, we did a lot of fun stuff. People seem to have a little more cheddar to spend. So we did a lot of like performance builds and things like that. That's the most fun stuff here. Here the last couple of years, it's been a lot of broken stuff. A lot of broken stuff. We got a couple Duramax engines sitting back here that need to rebuild. Do a lot of 6-liter Power Stroke work, a lot of cab off jobs, that kind of stuff.
Right on.
Then farm equipment, work on tractors, work on trailers, all that kind of stuff.
That would be like the spool gun stuff. Is a lot of those trailers.
Yeah,
with them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of the spool gun. So I'm trying to think some of the things we've done recently.
A boat.
Yeah, we've had a lot of boat stuff, a lot of boat repair. Boat trailers, somebody that's reconfiguring a hull. We've done some transoms. We've replaced some transoms in some boats. Doing the back, I had no idea that kind of stuff would ever show up, but it has.
Right on.
Cutting the rear of the boat out completely apart and then stitching it back together.
I mean, you put your name out there and you do good work, people are going to find you for whatever project they've got.
Yeah, and a lot we don't advertise at all. I mean, I'm just
word of mouth.
Yeah, we have way more to do than what we have time to get done, but it's more of a hobby that pays than anything.
Right on.
Well, that's great, though. Obviously, Maverick is learning a lot from that. I wanted to comment on your. It looks like a lot of the videos are from about a year or so ago that I saw on like YouTube and even on Instagram. But I feel like a lot of people could go to your page and get a good. You're a great example of teaching, because I love how you ask questions to Maverick and allow him to like thoroughly explain, what he's just learned or what he's working on, and the way that you encourage him through those questions and the process, I think is so great. And you must be giving really good explanations, because Maverick's explanations of what he's learning is just, simple, straightforward, and very clear. And it's so great. I really enjoyed just scrolling through there and seeing everything.
Yeah, it's not always usually when we're posting, it's slower, right? When it gets really busy, we're really bad about doing videos. But yeah, there's some videos on there of us working on a 6-liter Power Stroke, and I'll try to explain to him a high pressure oil system and how it works. And hey, where's the H pop at? Where's the IPR valve at? Where's the oil rail? Where's the injector? How does this stuff work? And just try to break down the systems and get them to understand piece by piece. So yeah, it kind of forces me to slow down too. It's, you learn it as an adult, and I'm like, hey, if somebody had done this for me when I was that age, where would I be at?
Right.
That's kind of the idea, I guess, behind that.
It's a good thing to recognize. I mean, a lot of people they go through life so fast that they never step back to have that realization that like, oh man, if I would have had this chance, like I can give this chance to somebody else instead of just pushing ahead.
I guess the thought and the goal is that by the time, I guess it's going to be here pretty quick, but by the time Maverick's 18 years old, done with school, he'd have the opportunity to say like, hey, I'm going to do this as a career. I'm going to do this and like be self-made and, have some skills that he can lean on and maybe, be more of an entrepreneur. So
right.
That's kind of the idea. That'll be his choice at some point in time here, but he should have the skills to make that choice.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a huge deal. Maybe this isn't what you want to end up doing, but you don't know that if you don't try that. And it's also going to develop skills that, like, how many people are in their mid-20s that don't know how to do brakes on their car or change oil, or, if they got, stranded on the side of the road, would have no clue what to do. No matter what line of work you're in, it's nice to have that background to fall back on. Also, with what you're doing is one of the things with, I've talked to different artists before about going to school, and they're like, go to school for business, because the art is like, you've got that or you don't, you can develop it. But the business is something where a lot of people fail at, because it's a totally different part of the brain than fabrication or creativity or whatever. And you being someone who's run businesses, he can also look at that and see kind of how we can, start a business from the ground floor and keep it running. And which is, I think, it's critical. And you've seen that more importance has been placed on that in the last few years. But that's a big deal too.
Yeah, by day I'm a manager in large utility business.
Okay.
Transmission work in substations, things like that, and it's kind of scary. Some of the guys I interviewed that just graduated college that don't really have any life experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get to see that firsthand, and I think we're seeing a generational shift there where their parents maybe weren't there to teach some of that stuff. So that's definitely some of the inspiration as well.
Absolutely. That's why I look at what you're doing and I feel like you're giving him a priceless opportunity right now. It's just a wealth of information and skills, which is really cool. Maverick, so you also get this exposure to the farm work. How interested are you in the actual farming aspect? You said you have a livestock farm?
Yeah, tell them what we got now.
I show cows at the fair, so I sold a steer this year.
Nice.
And I have a feeder steer and a heifer. And then my sister, she has a couple. Then we have like 120 cows out in the field.
Oh, nice.
And then what do you help Grandpa with every day?
We have hogs. How many would you say we have right now?
Probably got about 3,000 hogs right now.
Woo!
That's
Nice.
like half of what we usually have because we're loading out right now.
Lots of welding work in the hog barn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty corrosive, as you can imagine, a pretty corrosive environment.
Oh, for sure.
They will actually chew through a half-inch steel bar.
I was going to say they're pretty destructive, aren't they?
They're very destructive, and finishing weights have ratcheted up. The barn's about 20 years old now, and finishing weights have ratcheted up each year. So used to be a 240-pound hog was a big hog. Now a 310, 315-pound hog is a big hog. So the bigger they get, the more destructive they get. So yeah, we have a lot of work to do. They help their grandpa in there, and we're kind of the repair crew.
Right on.
Coming in and fixing things.
My grandpa had a beef farm growing up, so we had a lot of cows, and I didn't do a lot of work on the farm, but I have memories of shoveling some manure and things along those lines as a little one.
We have some row crop stuff too, and make hay for the cattle, obviously. So
right
lots of equipment repair, a lot of old junk, keeping a lot of old tractors running, and a lot of old equipment repaired.
So, Maverick, do you enjoy all of it, all of those aspects, from working with the livestock to doing welding repair, working on the trucks or in boats and trailers, all of that? Mm-hmm. Do you have a favorite out of those things, or do you just enjoy it all right now?
Love it all. It's kind of fun living on a farm.
I would say so. I feel just a little bit of envy because I can tell how much you enjoy it. So I'm like, oh, I wonder if I would have enjoyed it that much. I did not have the opportunity to grow up on a farm.
I liked it. It was my grandparents' farm, and my parents didn't farm, but I was homeschooled, so I was with my grandparents a ton. Definitely spent a lot of time around fields and the cows and all that good stuff.
Maverick here's a weird homeschool kid too. So
right on. Weird homeschool kids unite.
But again, that gives him such a great opportunity to incorporate all of that into your schooling, right? Outside of what you do with farm life, do you have a favorite subject in school?
Math.
Ooh, wowzers.
Oh, man, you're dangerous.
I know. That's going to come in handy on the business side of things for sure.
On the fabrication side of things, too. I think that's one of my big things that I hate is when in the welding industry, everyone likes to be proud of like, oh, I'm just a dumb welder. Like, I don't need school, whatever. We need smart welders. We need smart, skilled tradespeople because it's all about problem solving. Math is a big tool, and I wasn't good at that growing up. Like I shouldn't say growing up. When I got into the trades, I'm like, what am I going to need this stuff for? But man, it is really, really helpful, especially if you get to the point where you're drawing out blueprints and trying to calculate, even calculating weight of a piece that you're going to lift if you're getting into rigging or whatever it is. And it just makes your brain work in a different way too. Yeah, that's definitely a good thing to be interested in.
I feel like this has been a really fun conversation, and Maverick is the poster child for kids who don't mind getting their hands dirty.
That's right.
So we love that.
A great example.
Yeah, amazing example.
Both of you are. Yeah, I mean, your relationship and what you're doing, it's very commendable.
We're going to have to stay in touch because we must see what Maverick does next. He's already an award-winning stick welder, and I have a feeling he's going to love working with aluminum and digging into other processes like TIG welding, where he can continue to build and hone his skills. And we know that you'll continue with 4-H.
Yep.
Is that a year-round program?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've even been able to, with homeschooling, we've been able to incorporate. There's a project book, a pretty comprehensive contract. I'll take a second to promote that, I guess.
Yeah.
Please.
If anyone's looking for those opportunities, even as an adult, the project book for welding is going to walk you through from start to finish. I mean, the fundamentals. It's laid out in a way that a parent could work with their child to learn those skills. So those project books are on a variety of topics. I mean, you've got
Right on.
not just industrial art stuff, woodworking, electrical projects, engines, all that kind of stuff. There's also, family consumer science stuff, clothing, nutrition, cooking, all that. So those project books, the kids have taken multiple projects and will continue to on top of the livestock and more the agricultural stuff. But that gets incorporated into their homeschool curriculum.
Right on.
So, hey, Maverick, your assignment today is to do 3 more pages in your small engines book today, and come ask me questions if you didn't understand any of the concepts or any of the the things, the theories that you learned there. So yeah,
Great set of resources through 4-H then.
yeah, it's really cool. We're actually hoping right now that they've been talking about it for probably 15 or 20 years, coming up with more advanced projects. The project that he takes you has to be a stick welded project. If you show up with a MIG welded project, you're disqualified. So they're really focused on getting the fundamentals before moving on to other things. We're actually considering trying to help the state develop the more advanced levels, like a TIG welding project and a MIG welding project, things like that. Different metals too.
Yeah.
Getting into aluminum and stainless, helping develop those projects for kids to be able to kind of progress a little bit more through that.
Right on.
That's incredible. Please keep us updated on that. We would love to help you promote that opportunity for kids and adults alike to keep pushing their limits and learning even more about welding and fabrication. The technology continues to develop rapidly, and while a lot of the old skills and processes continue to hold their ground, it's great to keep developing other skills and learning other processes, even the newer processes that could potentially make human and livestock life on the farm and other parts of life a little easier. And again, this has been such a fun conversation, chatting with our youngest featured guest ever and his dad. You really are a dynamic duo. We're excited about what you're doing. You're a great role model, Matt, and Maverick. You have such a great teacher. So it's been an honor to have you join us.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Thanks for taking the time to talk to us.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you would like to continue being inspired by Matt and Maverick, please check out their Instagram at Graham_Industries. That is GRAHAM_Industries. And they also have a YouTube channel with the same handle. You can keep up with all that Maverick is doing and learning on the farm and how his welding skills continue to grow. And if you're interested in learning more about 4-H programs, please check out 4-H.org. We absolutely loved this conversation because it shows that when kids are given exposure to welding and other trades and given the opportunity to try it out, then they are interested. They want to get their hands dirty. They are still building America. Thank you again to Matt and Maverick, and to Maverick's mom, Cassie, for her assistance. And of course, thank you for listening to the Still Building America podcast.
Still Building America is a production of Fabricators and Manufacturers Association and part of the FMA Podcast Network. The podcast is hosted and created by Darla and Josh Welton. Episodes are produced and edited by Garrett Slager and Darla Welton. Additional production support by Dan Davis, Andy Flando, Dana Weicker, Mike Owens, Billy Culpa, Elizabeth Gavin, and me, Sarah Spring. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.